Morning. Welcome to Deer Corner. Deer season 2023 coming up. I'm getting ready for it. This morning I went out and pruned a bunch of redbuds. I got about 30 prunes I'm going to put out, startings. And how I'm doing it is pretty simple. Very, very simple. And one of the first things I do is take a milk jug. I put water in it, because once you prune your startings, you want to get them submerged in water. You don't want the tips to dry out. In pruning them, you need a good pair, sharp pair, hand pruning tools. And when you prune them, always remember when you're pruning your redbuds or apple or your dogwoods, pretty well any flowering tree, fruit tree, you can prune and start this way. Is when you cut your starting, always cut it above a eye or a bud. Your buds are on, you can see them on the side of your trees, and that's what the deer like to eat. They like these buds. But when you cut your starter, make sure you cut it at least an inch above your eye or bud on the existing tree that you're going to leave. And then submerge your cutting in the water right away. So pruning them, and you cut it at a 65, 70 degree angle. And afterwards, you get how many startings you want. You'll have to take a pocket knife. It don't have to be sharp. And you take your prune, and about a ½ inch up from your cut, you want to scrape the outside bark, layer off, down to the green. And be careful not to get down into the meat of the tree. And you get it scraped off about a ½ inch up. And then get it submerged in water. Now I've seen where people have taken them, cut them, cleaned them, and laid them down, but they dry up, and then when they try to plant them, they don't take root. You got to keep them moist. And that's where this product comes in. It's a very good product, a product that I very highly recommend. And it's called Root Boost. And it's about $8. And this goes, I get 50 cuttings out of one bottle, and it's about $8. You go buy a redbud tree, you're going to spend $18 and up. But I could take an existing tree and cut several cuttings off of it and take $8 root boost, and I'm running around 80%, 75%, 80% will take root. So it's a cheap, easy way of doing it, and I'm starting for 2023. And these will sprout this spring, come up, and grow into this winter, and give deer something to munch on come deer season. And the ones that make it after the deer browsing will grow into next year, which will be following year. So this is a very simple way of improving your deer habitat. And it's a simple way of moving certain trees that deer feed on in order to have a good deer habitat. And I'll show you how it's planted. It's a simple way of planting. I use a piece of rebar, and I stick the rebar in the ground, and then what I do is go ahead and dip the edge of the redbud into the root boost, and then go ahead and insert it into the hole. Now, a lot of people make a mistake and think they could take it and dip it into your root boost and just jab it into the ground. Well, what happens is you knock off or wipe off a bunch of your root boost, which then you're wasting it. But if you take a piece of rebar, stick it in the ground, and go ahead and put your root boost onto your sprouting and stick it in, you have more chance for it to take root. But this is just a simple way of improving your deer habitat, your deer feeding, your area. And by planting these, I got about 30 cuttings to put out. I'm going to do them about 4 foot apart. I'm going to make a thicket of them. I'm going to make it thick down there where they grow up. Now they won't bother them when they come up through summer, spring and summer. They won't bother with them. So they'll have a good chance of growing. But this winter, they'll be nibbling on them buds. So the more you get in the ground now, this time of year, right at spring, the better chance you're going to have a good deer habitat. So I'm glad you're along with me. I hope this helps. And go ahead and hit the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. And we'll see you again.